Okay.
Okay. Hello and welcome everyone to this discussion on Proposal 3, which is pretty much anything goes abortion. I did want to welcome everybody and explain to you that I'm the president of the Michigan Republican Assembly, and the assemblies were founded in the 1930s by Ronald Reagan in California. We are the Republican wing of the Republican Party, the conscience of the Republican Party, full spectrum conservative, social and fiscal. We don't differentiate between the two. They're both. And I think right now, what I would like to do is ask David to give a short invocation for us before we begin.
Okay. If you'll join with me in prayer. Father, I thank you for this day. I thank you that we have this opportunity through this technology to get some truth out there. Father, I pray that you would just use this video as an opportunity to pierce the hearts of those that are on the fence. Let them know that life is life. And I pray, Father, that you would help us to honor you in everything that we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen and amen. Now I'd like to introduce our presenter for the evening. It's Brad Smith. He is the Southeast Michigan Development Director for Right to Life of Michigan. And Brad, take it away.
All right. Well, I want to make sure that as we're going forward in this, that everybody knows Proposal 3, what it really is and what it really says and does. We've got a lot of resources. You can easily go to our website. In fact, probably the easiest way to remember it, we have a URL there that everyone seems to have trouble. So I created one that will take you right to a donation page, but you can easily access resources and all of that right above. And I'll show that later, but it's just noproposal3michigan.org. But I wanted to see if we could take a few minutes and walk through what this does. So if you can throw up that first slide, we can talk about this because there are a number. The thing people have to keep in mind is that this isn't a law that they are working to pass. This is a constitutional amendment. So we need to make sure that we understand how this will impact everything, because now if you pass a constitutional amendment, it is going to, every single law in the books will now get measured against that law. And if the laws conflict with that constitutional amendment, they're suddenly unconstitutional laws. And that's what we're facing with this, is a huge number of laws that will be impacted. And I'm sure a number of laws that we have never, that we never thought would be impacted, will be impacted. So the first thing, if you look at this, the following state laws are at risk. And this is a big one. This is one, and you need to know these as you're talking to people. You need to know at least a few of these things you can talk about, because these are things that can help change people's minds on Proposal 3. You may not necessarily change their mind on abortion, but we need to change their minds on Proposal 3. So if you look at the first one, it's parental consent for abortion. So that requirement that there be parental consent would be gone. It would not exist any longer. The ban on school employees helping children have abortions. Think about this. Not only in this, as we go forward, you'll see it includes much more. But this ban on school employees helping children have abortions could have some serious impacts. Laws requiring parental consent for medical treatment related to pregnancy, including sterilizations and hormone therapy. I mean, you could have kids going and getting sex changes and taking hormones, and you wouldn't know it as a parent, and they won't have to tell you. And just think about it, because the ban on school employees being gone, their teacher could help them do this. So you could send them to school, and now their teacher can help them do all of these things without ever telling you. And there's literally nothing you can do about it, because it's a constitutional amendment. and it applies to all individuals. It does not just apply, it doesn't say that it applies to adults. This applies to all individuals. Late term ban on abortion. So late term abortion bans would be gone. So that means we're looking at very likely the return of partial birth abortion, abortions in the last trimester. So again, remember, these are things, look, most of us look at it and we go, abortion is horrible and terrible regardless of when it is. And that's true. But there's a whole lot of people that they don't necessarily think the same way. And we're not going to possibly convince them, and we don't necessarily want to try and convince them right now on abortion. What we just want to do is say, you realize if you vote for proposal 3, this is what you're getting. And help them understand that they are getting an extreme abortion amendment. This would make us literally the most extreme abortion supporting state in the nation. Worse than California, worse than New York.
Oh.
So screening for women being coerced to have abortions, that would be gone. No more screening for coerced abortions. How about this one? Health and safety. This is on the next page. Health and safety requirements for abortion facilities. So the abortion facilities, I don't know if you want to put that in slideshow. It should fill the screen and we can see it, and then you can just click to the next slide. But
is it not filling the screen now?
And not on mine, it's not. So you can see it if you click on the second one there, the second slide, it'll at least forward it to this. So health and safety requirements.
I have it in presentation mode on my screen, so it is as full as it can get.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, I'm not seeing it that way. That's okay. I'll trust you. The health and safety requirements for abortion facilities. So Kermit Gosnell, does everybody remember Kermit Gosnell and the horrid situation that we had in that Philadelphia? And that is not a total anomaly. I mean, you got to think about the kind of people who will do abortions. They're not exactly, let's just say it, they're not exactly the cream of the crop. I mean, if you will kill people, you're not the most ethical person in the world, right? So health and safety requirements for abortion facilities are gone with this. That means we're going to have more Kermit Gosnells, and you won't even know it because they can set their own standards. There won't be any standards that the government can set for them because they are their own self-regulators. Requirement. This is just scary. Requirement that only doctors perform an abortion. Think about that one. I mean, it says healthcare professionals, but then the law actually goes on to say that if you're somebody who aids in any way, aids someone in having an abortion, that you cannot be investigated and you cannot be prosecuted. So that expands this even more. It's not just medical professionals. This could be anybody. Anybody could essentially perform an abortion. Now let's go back to, remember, the teachers that could now help students get abortions. Well, the reality with that is, think about it. If you have a teacher who gets his student pregnant, your daughter, he could either take her to get an abortion, or even more, he could perform the abortion. And he can't be investigated and he can't be prosecuted for anything to do with that. In fact, if your child died, there's nothing you could do under this constitutional amendment because everything's a constitutionally protected right and it cannot even be investigated. So here's this other one right here is conscience protections for doctors, nurses who object to abortions. So if you think about where this could go, I think you could see a destruction of the medical community, the medical industry. We already struggle right now, especially after COVID, where there's been a big struggle to have nurses. And I can tell you from experience, because we've spent tons of time in the hospital in the last year. We have and she's sitting not too far from me, but we have a little girl, Faith, who has trisomy 18. And we have seen the destruction that all the COVID stuff has wreaked on the medical community and the hospitals. And it was self-inflicted. All of it was self-inflicted. But this conscience protections for doctors and nurses who object to abortions, if you really have a conscience objection to it, and now they have a constitutional right to abortion, how are you going to object to their constitutional right? I think you will see a whole lot of doctors and nurses who just go, I'm done. And they figure, I'll go find some other career to do. So this could be devastating to an already hurt medical community. Ban, this is a fun one for many people, right? The ban on tax-funded abortions, gone. So now you can be required to pay for every abortion that happens. They will, and we know they will do this. We know that the left will take our money and use it to pay for their abortions. That is, they have always wanted to do that. And obviously they want to take our kids and then have them get pregnant so they can pay for their abortions too. This will astronomically, the number of abortions will skyrocket. In fact, we were talking about this today. The taxpayer funded ban on paying for abortions was put in place. There were 40,000 abortions in Michigan because people were getting them paid for. When that happened, immediately, when that ban went into place, they dropped significantly. I think it was by about 25%. So the number of abortions will increase in a huge way with this ban on tax-funded abortions. Now, of course, we have our Michigan original 1846 law and the revised 1931 abortion ban. This is going to mean that, and again, it won't just be that. That'll be wiped out, which is one of the strongest pro-life laws in the nation. Just so you understand, if you didn't realize this, under Michigan law, we have never had legal abortion. Not in Michigan. It's actually never been legal under our Michigan statutory law. And this ban is still there. Now they're trying to get rid of it. So we're in court right now trying to defend that against the governor and against the attorney general, who is trying to let it be defeated, as well as Planned Parenthood, who has challenged it. So we have two different court cases going on right now that we are trying to beat down and defend this law, which has always been acknowledged numerous times over and over by the courts that it is completely constitutional. So the fact that we now see these just rogue judges, I mean, they're completely rogue. They're not following the law at all. They have just literally said, we don't care what the law is. This thing, we don't want this thing. And I found magically, just like Roe versus Wade, I magically found a constitutional right in the Michigan Constitution, which kind of goes against their own argument when they are putting a constitutional amendment on the ballot. I mean, it absolutely makes no sense. So again, we're dealing with people who don't care about the law. If they don't care about children's lives, right? They're not going to care about the law. They're not going to care what it takes to get there. They will lie, they will cheat, they will steal, they will do everything they have to make sure that they can keep killing little children. Now, the other one, this final point, is bans on statutory rape and incest. Because of the way they've worded this thing, it could have dramatic impact on as we said, on number of laws. And this is an area where it could be impacted because anything to do with sexual reproduction can be affected. And so there's some frightening stuff that can happen with this. And there's no doubt this thing empowers sex trafficking. You could have a child in your own home being trafficked by someone. Maybe you have some crazy nutty family member who decides they're going to traffic your daughter, and you wouldn't know it. They could take them to have an abortion. They can. This thing's frightening. It's crazy frightening with all the things that it can do. So anybody can perform an abortion pretty much anywhere, anytime, and there's nothing that can be done about it because of the huge holes that they intentionally put in this thing. This is not unintentional. This isn't some kind of unintended consequences issue that we're dealing with. This is what they want. They want to create. They want to make this thing so that they can do whatever they want, however they want. If you ask me, this is just an absolute friend to the pedophile, to the people who want to mistreat children. It is disgusting what this does. And if you go to that last page, it just kind of walks through some of these things, right? So legal up to the moment of birth and possibly beyond. And I'll explain that one in a minute. Taxpayer funded abortions, partial birth abortion, legal again. No more common sense protections like parental notification for minors seeking abortions. Abortion anywhere, any stage of gestation for any reason by literally anyone. Your veterinarian, neighbor, abusive boyfriend. With no, they call it reproductive freedom for all, but it's really more like back alley abortions for all. If passed, it will become part of our state constitution, making our state more pro-abortion than New York and California, as I had mentioned to you. So this thing is just absolutely nutty. It is crazy to the extreme, and we have to battle it in every way that we possibly can. So we need people like you being educated so you can talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors. Can I say, please go talk to your pastors? Thank God, I will say that the Catholic churches have stepped up. I'm hearing there's a lot of activity amongst the Catholic churches and from most of the people that I talk to, that their priests are getting involved in talking about this because it came down from the Archbishop. He has been pushing it, put out a video on it, which is wonderful. I've been working with a lot of evangelical churches, but I will say that most of the evangelical churches that I talk to don't really know much about this. They don't know what's going on. In fact, I have a pastor friend who was talking to a group of pastors, of 25 pastors in his own denomination. And as he talked about it, he was shocked to find out that most of the pastors had not even heard about it. You have to reach out to your pastors, reach out to your church members. Don't assume people know this. I'm telling you, a lot of them do not know. So it's going to be on us to go out and educate. One of the other things that we are doing with this is that we're running commercials. We're running advertising. We've got digital advertising running. We're spending millions of dollars. So tomorrow, I know, thank God, we have the money today. I found out we had our state conference for Right to Life of Michigan in Lansing today. And so we found out that we had made our deadline with $2.3 million. That's not our whole campaign. That's just next week. So we've got to raise millions of dollars every week to pay for the media campaign for the following week. And we need as many people as possible donating as much as you are able to donate for us to keep doing that. But if we could, we'll show a couple commercials, and let's show the first commercial.
Proposal 3 creates a new extreme right to abortion and invalidates every law it conflicts with. Which laws? The law requiring parental consent for abortion and the law banning late-term abortions. The law setting health and safety standards for abortion clinics. Even the law saying abortions can only be performed by doctors.
It's like they're trying to trick us.
I think this might go too far.
This opens a whole can of worms.
Proposal 3, too confusing, too extreme.
So we have that commercial was one of our early commercials that started running. I actually saw we have a new one up on our site today, our YouTube channel for support, because the name of our coalition is support citizens to support Michigan women and children. So the website is supportmiwomenandchildren.org. You can, as I mentioned, though, you can also get there through, and I'll show you this in a minute, but you can also get there through the donation page where you can easily make a donation and share this link with others so that they can get involved making donations, because we're going to need, like I said, everybody jumping in and participating in this as much as possible. But let's show this other ad. This is one that was done by Dr. Kathy Stark. She is the medical director for Crossroads Care Center. She helped found Oakland Macomb OBGYN, which is a pro-life practice, which now actually has 19 doctors. Wonderful group of people. So let's go ahead and show her commercial.
Proposal 3 on the ballot about abortion is very troubling to me. The language is confusing and misleading. In the name of reproductive freedom, it invalidates many laws on the books to protect the health and safety of women. The law requiring abortion clinics to be safe and clean and pass inspections would be gone. The law that says only doctors can perform abortions would be gone too. Proposal 3 is confusing, misleading, and extreme. It just goes too far.
Yay.
Yeah, it's a great ad. And
is.
again, remember, we're using the messaging that we came up with in these ads, because they do have some people ask about, the way we're doing it, can't we say this? Can't we say that? We are using this messaging that is for the purpose of reaching the mushy middle, those people who support abortion. We came up with this through our polling, through our focus group testing, and these are messages that work. So the ones that I've walked over with you, and these things are all on the website. So you can go there. You can actually download and print your own documents if you want to. If you wanted to print some stuff and go hand it out to your neighbors, please do. We're going to need everybody participating in this thing in terms of educating other folks so that they really know what this thing is about. And and I don't know if that's on the screen or if I'm on the screen right now. But the website, again, it's noproposal3michigan.org. And David can throw that up there. It'll show the QR code, which is, you can easily just take your phone and you can scan that, and it'll take you right to that page where you can make a donation. This is, again, this URL, noproposal3michigan.org. You can easily take that and share it with friends. It'll take them straight to the donation page where they can easily make a donation. Now, let me make sure you understand, all these donations are non-tax deductible because we are using this to pay for the media campaign. So we cannot offer a tax deduction because of that. So, but we, as I said, we desperately need to raise these millions of dollars, because one of the things we don't want to become is Kansas. I mean, Kansas, you go look, there are a number of mistakes that were made there. And we have an opportunity to defeat this. We know from our polling, from our focus group testing, that if we educate people, I need people to understand this, we can win. I've heard some people out there that go, oh, this thing's just going to pass. There's nothing, nothing we can do. Not true. Absolutely untrue. We can defeat this. We just need to get the message out. As people get to know how crazy and how radical this thing is, even pro-abortion people look and go, man, I can't do that. That's crazy. I mean, even if it's just as simple as they don't want to pay for someone else's abortion with their tax dollars. This is what we have to realize, is we need to memorize these points. And as you're talking to people, bring those things up. Talk to them about what's in it. Make sure they understand how far this thing goes. I mean, really, if you're in the church, I would hope that you would just, once you find out it's promoting abortion, that you'd look at it and go, no, absolutely not. So we need a no vote. So it's the No Proposal 3, Michigan.org to make that donation. And like I said, once you get there, you can easily hit the along the top. It's got resources and other things, and you can easily get across that whole website and be able to get the things that you want from there. But it's going to come down to educating people, and that usually comes down to raising the money to make sure that we can get this message out. And then if you want, you can actually go see, there's some more commercials. If you do the Citizens to Support Michigan Women and Children, if you go to YouTube and you just do a Google search of Citizens to Support Michigan Women and Children, there's actually a new commercial on there, and you can share these things in social media. Please do. Grab them, share them, push them out there. We want as many people as possible to see these messages. So you need to be out doing that as much as you possibly can on as many different social mediums as possible. So that's, I mean, really, that's where we're at. That's where we need the help, getting this word out. So I am happy to talk about this more if there's some questions or comments or things that we want to discuss a little further.
Well, I can't say that was pleasant, Brad, but thank you very much for bringing that to our attention. If anybody has any questions now, I think you can unmute yourself, or maybe David will have to unmute you, but we welcome any questions to clarify. And I'll just say too, make sure at your church, your pastor knows about this and understand it isn't politics, it's life. If they are queasy about getting involved, this is biblical. Jesus said, let the children come to me, and it's absolutely biblical. So I hope you can make some headway there if they don't know about it already.
And I was just going to say, for any pastors who might be watching or listening to this, one of the things I like to point out is, the reality is, and I appreciate that they did it, our founders put the right to life in our founding documents, that it was from God and it could not be taken away from us without due process. And so we have that. But remember, it's from God. It's not from government. This is ours to defend because God is the one who established these rights that we have so that we can serve him. And government is actually supposed to protect those rights. So that's the duty of the government, is to protect that. But I would encourage you as a pastor, I'm not sure where this idea ever came from, that we shouldn't be involved in politics. I don't know scripturally where that's supported. I love to point out John the Baptist, just simply because, John the Baptist, we know only a few things about him. The first thing we know about him is he leaped in the womb when he met Jesus for the first time. So he met him when he was still inside of his mother, and he leaped when he got into his presence. We know that he ate bugs and honey, and he was a bit of a wild guy from that standpoint. We also know that he baptized Jesus. But here's the kicker to me. The last thing we know about John the Baptist is that he lost his head because he got involved in politics, because he was willing to stand up and publicly call out the king. So he was willing to get involved in politics on moral issues, and he called him out on his marriage that was immoral, and he lost his head because of it. Now, some may go, well, yeah, that's the problem. Well, except Jesus said that John the Baptist was the greatest man to walk the face of the earth. So if Jesus says, you are the greatest person to walk the face of the earth, and one of the only things we know about him is that he lost his head because he got involved in politics, I would say we have the same duty, that we should be willing to stand up for righteousness if it costs us our heads. So as pastors and as leaders, I would really ask you and encourage you to stand up. Jesus was very clear about his care for the least among us. He gave really strong warnings, the strongest warnings of anything you see of him saying in the Bible. Even when it's, if you were to harm one of the least among you, if you harm one of these little ones, you'd be better off to have a millstone wrapped around your neck and to be thrown into the sea. It's those kinds of things that we need to take the gospel seriously. We're going to one day stand before him and we're going to answer for it. And now is the time. Today is the day. We actually have a chance to end this in Michigan. We have a real opportunity. And 30,000 children were killed last year in Michigan. 30,000 were aborted. We had 3,000 people killed in New York City, and we went to war over it. We had 3,000 people killed in Honolulu in 1941, and we went to war over it. We've killed 30,000 of our own children. That's like wiping out the city of Flint. What would we do if somebody bombed the city of Flint? How would we react? How would we defend our state and our nation if that happened? And yet here we are slaughtering our own people. I think we need to take it much more seriously than we have been taking it. And we need to stand right now.
Yeah, I believe it was a rabbi scholar, Hillel, said, if not me, who? If not now, when? And this is the time. This is an incredible, disgusting overreach. And people need to know about it. We need to mobilize. As I always say, we need to be salt and light on this one.
Absolutely.
We've got to do it. And Brad, I'm going to ask you to please repeat those two websites, the Right to Life one and all the ones you gave. Just repeat them again so people can access them.
Yeah, so the No Proposal 3, and that's the numeral 3, Michigan. So No Proposal 3 Michigan.org. That will take you right to the donation page, but that actually takes you to the support miwomenandchildren.org. Okay. I just think it's easier to remember because it's our branding. No Proposal 3 is that's the logo you're going to see when you're on the website. So No Proposal 3 Michigan.org will take you right there. You can make your donation. Then you can just hit resources and go print, download stuff that you want. It's got social media things, so you can, put stuff on social media about this. There's a number of different of those points. They've created little boxes that you can go grab them, download them, and then you can upload them to your social media. There's some simple ways and simple things that you can do to do that. And as I said, there's some flyers on there. There's like whole flyers, there's half flyers, there's some different things. You can order material if you want. If you've got some bigger thing that you're trying to do, you can order some materials from there. I know we've got signage that is going to be arriving in Livonia. It was supposed to be there today. I know some of it had arrived there. And I imagine we'll be spreading that across the Metro Detroit area through the local affiliates. So if you connect with your local affiliates, you can look them up. And really, honestly, if you need something, you can always reach out to me. My email is pretty simple since my name's Brad Smith. It's just bsmith@rtl.org. That's simple. bsmith@rtl.org. So you can always reach out to me, and even if I'm redirecting you to someone else to get it, I will certainly do that. And if you've got questions, if you want to make a larger donation and you don't want to do it online, you can reach out to me via email. You can also call me. My number is 248-765-8717. And frankly, if you want to throw that, I know you're going to probably send an email out to folks to let them know this is available. You can put my contact information in that. You can put the links in that for this. Whatever they need, I am here to help. This is pretty much my life right now as we go through this. It is all consuming, and we've got to raise the money. We've got to reach the people, and whatever we need to do, we're going to do. So
I
feel
have a
free to let me
question.
know. Yep.
Can I ask really quickly? You said something about full sheet and half sheet things. Is one of the half sheet things suitable for putting in church bulletins?
Probably would work. Yeah. And it's a front and back. So you print it
Okay.
on the front and back. And I think there may be a couple different versions on there. They've been updating stuff and changing it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so there's a couple different things I think you can grab from there, look at, and see what makes sense for what you're trying to do.
And
Because
what I would suggest to people that if you'd like to do this for your church, I know we have a community impact team that is under the auspices of Family Research Council with Tony Perkins. I would take a look at those things. If you're in a church that hasn't mentioned this yet or discussed it, print something like that, give the information to your senior pastor and see what they think. If maybe they could
there's
put it in a bulletin, but quarterback that a little bit.
yeah, and
And
I would also say there's also some resources on there for churches. So you could even print that stuff and give it to your pastor, because what it does is it walks through what churches can and can't do, and
Yeah.
how they can participate. Churches can actually donate themselves, so the church can donate out of their regular church funds to support this media campaign. There's limits on how much they can donate, kind of percentages based upon their annual giving, but they can donate. The other thing, obviously parishioners can donate. And frankly, if you guys, this little thing that I put up there, if you want to even provide that to folks, that's something that I've been at churches and they've put that up on the screen. And I've had people just take their camera, point it, and grab it, and either take a picture and donate later, or they just sit there and make a donation right then.
I put it in the insert if there's a
yeah, and you could do that too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You could, size it up for that. But the one thing churches really don't want to do is you don't want a church that is asking people to donate to the church so they can give to this. You can't do that. That's a pass through. You can't give to a 501c3 and then give it to a 501c4. And that's what would be happening if you did that. So you don't want to do that. The church can give themselves out of funds they already have that are just the churches, but they can't ask for money from people to give to us. That becomes a problem.
Okay.
So then you just want to have them give directly to the campaign itself.
Is that what that QR code would do?
Yep. This takes you right to this website right here.
Okay.
So this QR code will take you right to that, which is the donation page. And like I said, when you go on it, if you look at it, you'll see right at the top, it still has all the stuff. You'll see the logo for No Proposal 3, and you'll see the resources and all the other buttons on there. So you can easily get all over the website from there.
Yeah.
This is an easy way to go to the website and be able to donate.
Yeah. Technology is great when it works and you understand.
I know.
That's something. I would just add too that whatever you do, make sure your senior pastor signs off on it, because they know all the rules, the treasurer and all that stuff. And I think in addition to the money, and the Michigan Republican Assembly is going to be making a donation to Right to Life, if that's where you want it to go, non-tax deductible.
That's
okay?
fine. You can put it in either organization if you want, and you and I can figure that out.
Yeah. Okay. And we will figure that out. But tell people, talk with people, go out to lunch with them after church, have them grab some coffee, download some resources. Right to Life, they've done everything for us. And I think it's powerful when one-to-one you're telling somebody about this. It's not just an ad out there somewhere. It's someone they know and trust talking about this. So I think that would be extra powerful and impactful. If you have a group of people in your neighborhood, if you quilt, if you garden, if something like that.
Small
Just,
groups at
these
church,
people
anything.
mention.
Really.
Yeah.
Community
we have
events that you participate in. Talk to people.
Absolutely. Once a month, we have like a craft day on a Saturday at church. So the ladies that do that, they might want to start talking about that. I don't know, but it's, the each one reach one type of thing
Yep.
too.
Yep.
Anyone else have any questions? You can unmute yourself or David can unmute you. Anybody? No?
You can also put a question in the chat if you want to do it that way.
Oh, there is? What does that say? I didn't even look. What does that say?
I said you can put a
Oh.
question in the chat if you
Uh,
would like to
okay.
do it that way.
Okay. I don't see him, but oh, there's somebody.
Oh, I do. Claudia has a question.
Okay.
You can unmute yourself, Claudia,
Or
That'll
type
work.
it. Whatever you want.
or type it. Is she typing? I can't see her typing.
We can't
Well,
tell if
this-
she's typing.
While she's doing that, we just, I just stress that we have a real opportunity to see this stopped. We can defeat this, and I can't stress enough because, we can't in any way feel defeated. I will tell you, our internal polls don't match the polls that you've seen in the newspaper. It's not nearly as strong of support as we're seeing, which, come on, is that really a surprise? I mean, the polling is always used to try and manipulate. So don't let polls slow you down. Don't let it stop
Right.
you.
Okay. Claudia, wait a second. When will this be available?
Yeah, she wanted to know if it'll be available. I know it's being recorded, so
Yeah, it's being recorded, and I'm not sure technically how it works, but between David and our secretary, Jim Noak, they can get it on not only our Facebook page for Michigan Republican Assembly, you can look at that, and it's going to be on our website, which is www.michigan, the letters RA.org. www.michiganra.org. And it should be there by the weekend.
Okay, that sounds great. Can you hear me now?
I can
Yes.
hear
Yep.
you now. I can
Okay.
hear you
Yeah,
now.
I just want to tell you, Brad, thank you so much for this talk. This has really been enlightening. I had no clue this was going on. And so I'm motivated to get the info out. So I'm going to look at these resources. Now, these 3 documents that you showed us tonight, will they be available on the website?
that's up to you. They certainly can use that stuff. I'm fine with it being passed around, whatever you want to do with it.
Okay.
It's just a simple PowerPoint is what it was. So
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We can send that to you.
Okay. Yeah, this has been really, really enlightening. Thank you very much.
And one more thing I wanted to remind everybody of, absentee ballots go out next week. It's already the
Yep.
beginning of October. It's really important that
I heard they already started sending them out. So
right.
we were told that today at state conference that they've already been sending them out. So people will start getting them in the next 2-3 days.
My only
So-
question is, are they already filled in?
Oh, dear.
Is there any new questions in the chat? I see something there, 3, or is that all Claudia?
Yeah, they're
Yes.
all me.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? I see Dennis and Carolyn here, and Jennifer. Nobody else? Okay. Well, I guess that's it, Brad. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. And
Yes.
thank everybody at Right to Life and all these organizations that are on this. It's so important. So thank you all for being here. And we'll get that up just as soon as we can. And I will send it out to people. I'll post everything on our Facebook page and I'll email you. If you got the email for this, then you'll get it. But if you didn't, it'll be on the Facebook page where you probably saw the link for this.
Okay.
Anyhow, thank you very much. God
Thank
bless.
you, Barbara.
Thank
And
you for
David.
doing this, Barbara.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.